Thank you for coming back to doing Bart Things, and today we're going to go into rumor mills. So I've tried to make this video like 3 times and just gotten bogged down into the minutia of each one of these items I'm bringing up here. I think I'm going to try to speed this up though. So I apologize again for not posting as many videos as I really should be. I'm trying to keep things going. We'll definitely be attempting at posting more as time goes on. It has just been crazy with work, with things going on. Um, like, man, life, life just happens, and we do something just for fun. You have to sometimes uh, take it in the shorts and and, and cut back on things that are not completely essential. I'm sure everyone can understand that. So, but what I want to do is try to go through rumor mill today and sort of give some of the things goings ons that I see happening out there. Um, you know, GPU makers basically going to, in this next generation, kick their own ass price wise and just in people buying their stuff. It's going to get a little crazy. So, first thing, I'll try to blast through this. AMD is finally releasing the 7900 GRE Golden Rabbit Edition for the US market, potentially. Now, the issue I have with this, and the problem that I think they're going to run into, this card would have been great last year, or potentially before we had a 7800 XT. The 7800 XT came out, and it is roughly on par with this card, actually. The difference in price is $50. We'll have to see benchmarks and stuff from someone here who's willing to like overclock this. My suspicion is these two cards are too close together in performance to not to be sellers on their own rights. I think that the fact that this card has a much lower clock speed, it has more CU, or it has more clusters, like more processors. So in that regard, it's stronger, but its bandwidth is lower. Its memory is not as good. It's a little bit lower power. So it's kind of a weird mix. Um, and like I said, we really have to see benchmarks. Um, if this card is good overclocker, that could help, but it might be hindered by the fact that the memory is not as good. See what I'm saying? Like, it's really kind of strange. Its bandwidth may not be high. We know that you can also overclock the 7800 XT. So just being able to overclock is not the end all be all. So again, we're going to have to really see. It does have significantly more stream processors. So it's the other things around it that basically kind of bring it back down to earth and make it that $549 to $600 video card versus the actual $500 video card that's out there. Now, it puts in a weird position of, if you want to sell these, but then you drop the price on these, if they're that close in performance, it may not work out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know now what the sort of to do is, unless again we get some partner models, they overclock and play with the memory settings and stuff, and this performs significantly better than what it looks like on paper, which could happen. Again, it's got the stream processors for it. It almost has as many as a 7900 XT, but I want to caution, because of all the other specs, that alone may not make it this as high performance as one would imagine from just being a little bit of a cut down 7900 XT. We'll have to see on that one, but interesting nonetheless. I can't believe we're getting a card that's nicknamed the Golden Rabbit Edition. That is crazy to me. Next up, Nvidia. So take this a little bit with a massive grain of salt. Any of this could change. Most of it probably will. I have some speculation. Just looking at this looks like all of the leaks that we've seen, mostly, that seem to be from semi-accurate places that have a couple of inside information. And I suspect it's right, or it's very close. Um, and because it does follow some of the trends that we're seeing now from Nvidia, which is they're going to offer you, you know, the same amount of stuff from their end. It's going to perform a bit better as a mild generation improvement, but then they're going to charge you more. So here's what I mean, okay? Basically laid out here, I believe, and again, giant salt shaker here. Take it with a pinch of salt. Like this could be totally wrong and blown up, right? But what I think is about to happen is this low skew is about to be like a 50 series, like a 50, a 50-50. I guess it'd be a 50-50, yeah. 50-50, 50-60, 50-70, 50-80, 50-90, okay? Now, it's going to be crazy because this card's performance, okay, will be significantly SM for SM faster, okay, or core for core faster than the outgoing model, all right? So what they're going to do is um, they are going to basically say, and SM is like, I think that's like a cluster, okay? So it's a cluster of cores. And if you did the math, you'd find out that this is equal to X amount of CUDA cores, right? If I look up a 4090 now, you'll see that it's got like 16,000 of these cores or whatever. So what I think is basically, unfortunately, this card, which is way down in spec from a 4060 or 4070, will perform roughly about like that spec, maybe a little bit better, and they're going to charge you the price for a 4070 for this, or a 4060 for this today. This will be like a $450, $500 card. I'm sorry, but I think that's what's going to happen, and it's a way cut down card. This card will be a 4070, and it's going to be probably $800, and it will be an X8 PCIe 5 card. Like it's cut down. This is going to be $1,200 again, okay? But they'll show that it's way faster than, like your 40. It's as fast as a 4090. That's how fast this card will be. They'll be like, we made a card. It's as fast as a 4090. It's way faster than the 4080 was, okay? And we're only charging you like $1,200. Will be the selling point, all right? And then this card will be $2,500. It'll be the 5090. At least $2,500. I would be shocked if it's lower than 2,000. I would not be shocked if it was 3,000. That's how they're going to do this. Hell, this card may be $1,500. Okay, they're going to push the stratosphere because there's nothing to compete with it. AMD, the only shot that we have is if AMD released a 3.5 RDNA 3 card. Okay, and I don't think they're going to necessarily do that. They're going to release RDNA 4. RDNA 4 is going to be low, mid-tier card. And it's not going to compete with this. So I think that's the unfortunate reality of where we are. But what's going to happen is NVIDIA is going to price themselves out of the market and nobody's going to buy it. I think is what's going to happen, unfortunately. That's my suspicion. So if you're waiting for Blackwell at the end of this year and the next year, save your pennies because you're not going to get a free pass. To get one of these cards that actually is worthy of purchase, these full bore cards, I think it'll be like, if you look at it, look at what they're doing. Like they almost double the SM count, right? This is the 4080 and 4090 all over again. Um, that's what's happening. Next stop, Zen 5, right? So Zen 5, rumor mill has it 40% performance. Now I thought when they said 40% performance, I was like, that's going to be multi-core. Like no way they're going to do one single thread performance. Rumor mill is single thread performance. So, um, okay. So let me get this straight. Zen 4 is competitive with Raptor Lake. Okay, it is. I don't care what anybody says. It's very close. Now, it doesn't perform the same in all the things, right? You can go back and forth. There's a whole conversation to be had, but it's pretty close between those two CPUs. Raptor Lake, because you can put faster memory on it, and it will take it and actually use it because it will clock so high at the cost of a bunch of power, but it will do it. Raptor Lake is a pretty high performance chip, and it edges out, say, the 7950X in a number of things. But it does so at a cost. That cost is power and heat. Um, but you can do it. And if you go crazy on cooling, it'll do it reliably. 360 radiator AIO is probably a must. You can get by with it on a air cooler, but when you do an air cooler, I mean, these things are variable these days. Like the clock speeds are variable. It will downclock itself. It will function, but you're not getting the most out of it. That was something that irritates me is when I'm not getting what I paid for as far as value, right? So you buy a 14900K, get ready for the pain. You're gonna have to cool the thing. I think a 14600K, 14700K, those CPUs are just better buys because I think for realistic cooling, you'll get more out of them for what they are. That's my thought process. 14900K is just, you're not going to get as much more as you think out of it unless you go crazy with cooling. That's just my 2 cents in my opinion. Now, Zen 4, 7950X, not X3D parts. Let's ignore the X3D parts for a minute. The X parts are relatively close. You can overclock them, you can tweak them, but you cannot increase their memory performance as much as you can with 14900K. And there's some other tweakability things there, and they don't take 400 watts, but they get relatively close. Good processors. They're talking 40% more performance on a single thread. That is out of this world. That is crazy for a generation. We knew it was going to be substantial, but if it's that substantial, I mean, Intel's in trouble. Intel, I mean, I think, again, pinch of salt here. This is rumor mill that we're talking, but that would be crazy talk. Again, that would put it, when Arrow Lake comes out, even if Arrow Lake performs what is stated, it's going to be competing with Arrow Lake, is what the deal is. It's going to be competing with Arrow Lake. That's wow, just wow. This is a drop-in the current AM5 boards. You have to do a BIOS flash, I'm sure. That is massive. We will have to see how it handles memory and that kind of thing, because that's really where I think it gets interesting. Is the Infinity Fabric, as far as like how the chips are laid out and how they communicate with other chips and that sort of thing, yet to be seen. That is a large increase in single thread performance, though, if that is true. Again, I'll believe it when I see it. I still think really it's going to be 40% multi-threading. You know what I mean? But we'll see. We'll see. Um, it's not going to transfer directly into like games. Be aware of that. So don't be thinking that you're going to buy this and get 40% more performance CPU wise on all your games. That's not how this works. But it'll definitely have an impact. Some games may go nuts on it, right? Some games not so much. This is going to be an average. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But that is pretty astonishing if they can make that claim. I'll be really interested to see. Lastly, for today, uh, EK released a AIO. I didn't realize this, but it's got the Intel skull on it, and I thought that was pretty cool. So I just showing this. This is a direct die one, so basically you have to delid your processor, advanced users only, in order to use this AIO. But it works. You could probably get more clock speed out of it. Like if you really wanted to get the most out of your Raptor Lake, you probably could do that and see gains. But I just like the skull is what I like. I think that's cool. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. Leave a like and subscribe if you would. We'll be coming out with more videos soon. Um, Hopefully, with a little bit of support, like we can make this channel like a regular thing, and I can start coming out with more videos. I would like to maybe some reviews here and there. I think definitely I should do more PC part builds and kind of give some folks some ideas if they're looking to build anywhere in the near future. We definitely want to stay tuned because while things have settled slightly, um, again, I think the two things that will make a big splash: AMD releasing Zen 5, that's a drop-in that is 40% faster, 1-thread performance. I mean, if they do that, that's going to be pretty big. That may even make frame chasers take a deep breath and go, uh-oh. But we'll see. Again, this stuff almost never pans out the way that leakers say. So take that for what you will. Thank you guys. Have a great weekend.